Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice. You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Whoopsie! I pushed the wrong button, boss.
Whoopsie!
Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Wayne.
And tonight is the live call-in show.
Wah, wah, wah.
Welcome back, Rob.
Thursday night.
Welcome
you
back.
Got your horn back. Wah, wah.
You missed a whole week last week.
I did. It was worth it, though. Yeah, it was dropping the girl off at the University of Florida. So
Good times?
good times. Yeah, we had a good time. The final kiss and drive away was a little emotional for the wife, of course, but
Not you. You didn't cry one bit.
no, didn't.
So
didn't
the
shed
last
a tear.
scene in the Hulk with the music, cue the sad music, and walking down the street.
Yeah, no, I had to stay real super positive because she didn't want us to leave. She kept finding excuses to have us hang around. So
What was that last game that y'all played? I know you spent this summer getting some games in before she had to go.
we brought Jaws of the Lion because we had
Saw
about
it packed in your car.
yeah, we had like 4 sessions left to go, and we played 2 of the 4 at the hotel that we were staying in. So, but we got about 2 more to go. So when she comes home for Thanksgiving or what have you, we're gonna knock
Be
out the
back
last 2.
before Thanksgiving. It's only
Yeah,
2 hours.
yeah. She'll be back, but yeah, I'm
Nice
trying
and
to.
hot, carrying all that stuff from the
Yeah.
car into the dorm, and
Yeah, it was. Yeah, a couple cart trips back and forth, and building furniture and all that good stuff. But no, it was good times. It reminded me of the college days. So yeah, it was fun. But I'm trying to cut that cord. I'm trying to get her to do her own thing. So we're
Speaking of her, in the
is she on
chat,
there? Hey! Just call me out.
our very own little bean,
Yeah, there we go.
all the way up north,
Thanks for watching, Emmy.
up in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. That makes us almost 10 viewers now. Almost 10.
Yeah, so she's only 2 hours, or not even 2 hours away, just a little short of that.
30 minutes from Brett's house,
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah. So I make
we
a
can go
little side trip over
spend
there.
a weekend up there, and
The boys.
pew 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 on the farm, and
Boy's leaving tomorrow. He's going up to Florida State, so that's about 4 hours away. So he's going to be a little bit further away, but still in the state. But yeah, it's going to be my 12-year-old. I think is taking it the hardest. He's going to go from a big brother and a big sister to being.
when Melissa reminded me about Arby leaving this week, we had talked about it. Like, wow, poor Ian. Like,
Oh yeah. So
the house is empty.
Or he's now an only child, so
yeah, he's got the run of it now. It's what we keep telling
run
him.
of the house. he's
Yeah,
got,
we're
you
like,
know.
yeah, you can do whatever, and he's like, but I won't have anybody to play with or whatever.
And he's a
So-
social bird.
Yeah, he is.
Out of all of them, he's
Yeah.
compared to Arby, at least, he's very much a social bird.
Yeah, for sure. So, but anyway.
Congrats and welcome back. Glad
Thanks.
to see you got some gaming in over there.
Absolutely.
It has been a heavy week at work. I know for me,
Yeah.
and I know Wayne for you too. So not a lot of recent plays, but some very big ones. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll really just open up the phone lines at this point because we're gonna talk a little bit about games that we've played, and then we'll talk a little bit about news. And those are really the main topics that we have today. So on that note, we'll open up the phone lines.
Okay. And as always, it's a call-in show, so you call in, participate. You can talk to us about whatever. It doesn't have to be board gaming. Anything nerdy, geeky, board game adjacent, we're here to talk about it. So just call in, whether it's news you've heard, things you want, if games we've played, games you've played. Just let us know what you've been up to, and if you got questions for us, we'll try to fill them, answering the best we can. But
813-618-7099 is the phone number. Phone line is hot and open. Call in and talk to us about what you have been gaming for.
Yep, absolutely. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff. One other thing I want to touch on, even though I'll have one more show before the retreat, is Dice Tower Retreat has moved from Miami to Orlando, and that's next week. It's Wednesday through Sunday, 5 days of gaming. William and I are going to go up actually early Friday morning, so we're going to make a 3-day of it, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's only about 250 people, so it's a much smaller, more intimate group. The whole Dice Tower crew is there. Good chance to play games with them. We went to they did it a couple years ago. They moved it kind of as a one-shot deal from Miami up to Orlando, I think kind of testing the waters. And I think they've said that Orlando is the new home of the retreat. So looking forward to
It's official.
yeah, to many more. But
I can see them maybe growing the size a slight bit because they're going to increase Dice Tower East.
Yeah.
in the next year.
That's what they said. Yeah.
I can see them grow in the retreat maybe to the size of Dice Tower East from a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah. It's exclusive. It's hard to get tickets. Tickets for the retreat sell out fast. They actually offer them to people who have been to prior retreats first, so they allow anybody who's been to a retreat to get a ticket first, and then if there's leftovers, they put them out there, and then usually those leftovers are gone in just a couple of days. So, but yeah, really looking forward to that, and haven't played many games with William in a while, so it'll be fun to play some games with him. So.
And William's one to get into games with random folks.
Yeah,
that's his big thing. Is he likes to play with people he's never met before, kind of experience the con from that point of view.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Try to get out there and spread the word. I'll have some stickers and pins and buttons.
Oh, I got
and
more.
Stuff. So yeah,
we got some new stickers that came in, some die cut stickers.
Ooh.
I got a whole second pack, Robert.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we got a whole another pack of those.
Emmy actually was, she's going to decorate the front of her little mini fridge with different stickers. And she's like, oh, I need to get one of the Beans and Dice stickers so I can stick that on there.
Make it happen.
Yeah, there it
Make
is.
it so.
Cool. Sweet. There's the stickers for anybody. It's just our Beans and Dice logo, but we got stickers, we've got pins, we've got buttons, we've got, over there, we've got all kinds of good stuff. So,
Speaking of that, Carlos, do you have a ton of stickers that because I'm going to Dragon Con next week?
I don't have a ton. I think I have a 50 pack plus probably another 25 out of that.
I give them half of these. But
Yeah. Half of those.
Mm-hmm.
Give me because I can put them. I'll do
If you play with people and meet
play
up
with
with people.
and then I also go to like the digital media sessions. They usually have a table in the back where you can put down buttons and stickers. And people will go pick them all up to check out.
Ooh,
Other
Nice.
stuff, so.
Yeah, just drop them off there.
I got buttons.
Yeah,
Buttons,
I got
stickers.
some. So yeah, whatever you got, anything that we want to use up, I'll take it with me.
There you go. We got swag going out. If you're going to Dragon Con, if you're going to retreat, make sure to reach out to Wayne, reach out to Rob. They will be there.
Absolutely.
I know Nick Oben is going to be at Dragon Con. So
Yeah, and I know a couple of people threw their names out there. Wasn't there somebody else in the?
Sam was going to go, but I guess her boys started college and they really can't miss classes, so she pulled out this year. But they're planning to go next year. So
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, it's a good time. Been a couple times myself, so not nearly the veteran that you are, but I've been a few times. It's been fun. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Game wise,
Yeah.
it's been a fast week. I know, at least for me with work and getting back into the rhythm of school. This is the second week of school for our kids. It really hasn't given us those opportunities to get a lot of games in. How about you, Wayne?
No. The last game I played, we talked about last week, was my wife and I played The Endangered. But first week of school for my kid, first week of school for me and my job. I work in higher education, so I work at a college. So yeah, it's been nonstop, and then soccer started.
Oh yeah.
Three or four soccer practices this past week, and yeah, it's been rough. But I did get my other kids' table board games. I got Rec Raiders now, so I showed off. What was the not Rec Raiders, but the Fossilists. I got the Fossilist Rec Raiders. And then I've just been printing 3D inserts for them this week. So while I've been working like crazy, my 3D printer's been running all week. So it's good.
Well, let's catch you up on what I've had. Last week, I opened up my copy of Ezra and Nehemiah by Shem Phillips and the other guy.
Sam McDonald?
Yes.
Yep, there you go.
The other guy.
The other guy, the lesser guy. No.
That's a great duo.
Oh, yeah.
That is
they're knocking it out. I love their stuff, yeah.
I have not played a lot of... Okay, I'll say I haven't played any of their stuff because I don't think Raiders of the North Sea was them two together. I don't own that one, Robert. Don't be looking for Euros.
I was looking for the...
Don't be looking for Euros on my
Hadrian's Wall.
shelf.
Was that them that did Hadrian's Wall?
I own it. I've never played it.
But yeah. See, I played that one, so yeah.
I may have owned it, but I've never played it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the first steps for me into that combo.
Yeah, Raiders is just Shem Phillips.
Yep.
Okay.
So I haven't played them together, and I did not have a good time with Raiders. That kind of threw me out of that. I did not.
Like my favorite game of theirs.
North Sea?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, Raiders of the North Sea is like I have now. Granted, they've got like 15 of them now.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them.
Maybe
friend of the show. Friend of the show, David Carlton, taught us at Escape WinterCon, and he was all about getting every expansion.
He threw
in
all the
there.
expansions in, so we played. Our first experience was everything. So yeah, it was a little overwhelming.
That's one word we can use.
Yeah.
Because there's like a body of water in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
I never crossed it.
You didn't?
I never had the ability to
Get
cross
to the upper half of the board.
No,
No.
I could. All of my Vikings stayed on the homeland. Like we.
Nice.
Like,
No, I mean, what's
Dream
interesting is I know you love Lords of Waterdeep, and to me, Raiders of the North Sea is not a replacement for Lords of Waterdeep, God no, but they're very close in my mind as far as gameplay, weight, kind of like just fun.
Yeah.
We got to give that another try, man, because I think, play base game or something.
You haven't played Raiders of Scythia yet, have you?
Nope.
Okay. I
think I own that one too.
I own that one. It's a good one. It takes some of the other Raiders games and streamlines them a little bit, makes the game a little shorter, and the board's a little more compact. It's a little quicker in experience and a little more streamlined. It kind of kickstarts you at the beginning. You're just jumping and taking a bunch of resources instead of having to go 6 different places to get what you need. You can go like to 2 spots and get stuff and start building faster. And I like it a lot. So we'll have to play that sometime.
I like Jason Dunham in the chats. He's got tons of puns coming out here. Come sail away.
Come sail away.
That never happened for me in Raiders of the North Sea.
No sea legs.
We did not land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
Something like that.
Yep. It was rough. So that kind of shied me away from that whole line. I ended up buying Viscounts because it was a good deal at the flea market.
Viscounts.
Why the S then?
The S is silent. Viscounts.
English was already hard enough to learn.
No, it's all right. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's a discount. Why is that not a viscount?
A die count? Anyway.
English is not my first language. Trademark Beans and Dice.
Yeah.
So I was excited about this game, Ezra and Nehemiah, solely because of the theme. Because Shem has been doing a lot of historical stuff. He is an unashamed Christian. His testimony's on YouTube. You can check it out. It's a beautiful testimony, how God has worked in his life. And I was looking forward to this specific title coming out because of its tie-ins to the Old Testament, into that historical aspect. I was really nervous about learning this game. So that's really kind of the point I'm going to get to here. Is it's about learning this game. That's what I want to share about. Mm-hmm. It's been a week since I got here. Wayne was with me on the show as I unboxed it. And I had already read through the rules beforehand. Then I had the paper copy to read through. I've watched multiple videos, and it wasn't as terrible of an experience as I thought it was. The hardest part for me had to be setup. Like there's so many components in this game. So if you're going to be picking up Ezra and Nehemiah, my suggestion for learning the game is just get it set up on the table. Once you walk through setup in its entirety, the rest of the rules begin to make sense because the board, Rob, you saw it.
Yeah.
Rob got here a little early.
We ran through a couple turns, yeah.
Take him through a couple rounds of the game, kind of demo him the rules in hopes of kind of making sure I understood it through the teaching of it, which I think, Rob, you grasped it pretty easily.
Yeah, pretty quick. I did watch a video, so yeah, I wasn't completely, yeah.
There's a lot on this board.
There is, yeah.
There's a wall perimeter. There's a temple with placement of cubes to fill almost like polygons being filled. Kind of like the city board of Tapestry, where you're trying to fill up sections of this board to trigger bonuses.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the altar, where you're sending Levites to burn incense or wood and cinders on there. You've got the scroll board, which is like a branching Y type flow chart, right? You start at the lower end, almost like a
tech
Seven
tree
Wonders
or something,
Duel,
mm-hmm.
where you're having to work your way through the different branching paths to get to the different scrolls that you want to get to. Then you've got like a rondelle in the bottom right, which is the tents around the city. You're working that to get bonuses. All the while, you have your player board with different development zones, so different areas that you're going to be placing workers or holding resources. There's a lot of little things.
Yeah.
Reading the rule book, it didn't grok. No matter how many times I read it, it just didn't connect until I put it out on the board. Mm-hmm. Once I put the board out, put all the pieces where it belong, it all started making that physical sense. Like, okay, this connects to that. This section of board explains how this works, or is the legend for it. And it really made it easier to learn. So my suggestions for learning this game, I don't think it was as hard as I expected it to be. I was really nervous about it. But at the end of the day, once I put it on the board, that first read-through, put the board out, and then kind of run through the rules in chunks.
Put it on the board.
Like summarize it. I think I grokked it.
Yeah, I was just looking it up here real quick. I mean, it's not a light game. The weight on a 5-point scale on BGG is a 3.79, so it's basically 3.8, pushing a 4, and a 4 is a heavy game. We've played some 4s, some 4.1s, and that's the big one that we played with Dan, all for one, the space
Frontier something.
High Frontier.
High Frontier.
Yeah, that's like a 4-1, and that is like super, super heavy. So, I mean, a 3.78.
Pretty heavy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd quite maybe we're splitting here. I'd say maybe a 3.5 in my mind. But yeah, there's a decent amount going on. There's a ton of variability. Carlos was showing me and telling me about all the different variable tiles that you can randomize and set out, and they all, your player board has random tiles. The main board has random tiles. So from game to game, it's going to be different experiences, and so there seems to be a lot of depth in there.
Oh yeah, and I forgot the altar track, which has got the 2 prophets, and it's like a moving goalpost that you have to try to stay within the bounds of those 2 prophets.
Yeah,
there's a lot, but I will say this, Rob, we only played 2 rounds, so it's like 6 actions per round. The rules fell away though.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that as we got towards?
No, yeah, it was intuitive. I felt like I could figure out what everything did, and I knew what the rules were. I knew what was going to trigger what. So yeah, you're right. That part of it was, but it's just all the options. There's so many different. Well, I say that you play cards.
There's only 3 main actions.
Yeah, there's only 3 different colors, and you either pick blue, red, or gray, and then you do the thing. But it's just once you do that. And actually, it even narrows it down because once you choose the color, it only relates to a certain part of the board, a third of the board. But it's just trying to add all that stuff up. And then the other big thing I complained about in this game is feeding your people. It's got the Uwe Rosenberg at the end of every week in the game. You have to feed your people, and so both of us were constantly. Every time we took an action, it was like, oh, hold on, do I have enough to feed my people? Okay, I'm gonna have enough. All right, next round. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this work. Oh no, hold on, am I gonna have enough to feed my people? And so that's a constant weight on you all the time trying to figure out, can I feed my people? But the 2 rounds we played, I ended up with more food than I thought I was going to. It's like I mentioned to you that, hey, I found some food here all of a sudden. So I was like, I thought I planned it out. I was just going to have just enough food, and then I ended up having with a couple extras. So,
well, really what it was is workers showed back up, and you were able to send them out to get more food. So you found some dudes.
Yeah, some dudes to go get some stuff. Yep.
I feel like I kind of hate that mechanic. I hate's a strong word. I just like that mechanic. No, I don't know what it is. I'm just not good with that. Like, I'm not good with remembering to feed my people.
A lot of people do. A lot of people don't like that end of round maintenance upkeep that you have to do every round. So, like I say, it's constantly in the back of your mind. You're always like, okay, I want to put these people out because they trigger things. But we didn't explain it. But anybody you hold in your reserve at the end that you don't put out to do an action or to collect your stuff during the game round, at the very end, the last thing you can do is put those people out in the farm or whatever, and each one of them gets.
So they count as if they've been farming the whole time, right? So any workers you didn't place to do scribe work or Levite work or gate and wall work, they count as they've been making food.
So yeah.
So there's this thing that happened, Rob, where it kind of hit me, this accounting aspect, and I have an accounting background. It was I would set up my workers and my food into a pile, and based on the number of workers I have, because your number of workers can change as the game goes on, I mathed out, all right, I need this much food and this many workers to meet my need for that round, for that end round. And as I found food, as food found me, I was able to say, all right, well, I don't need that worker to make food anymore because 2 food just showed up, from a different action.
Moving from pile A to pile B.
So it's kind of like a reconciling at the end of each action to say, okay, let me reconcile to make sure I still have enough workers and food combined to meet the need of my people.
So you were kind of doing that on the fly as you went. I was kind of waiting until I was down to my last couple turns. I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Now I got to start counting how many. All right, this turn I just got to make a bunch of food.
Rob, Jesus says it in the Bible, you got to count the cost.
Be prepared.
You got to count the cost before you build.
Scouts, be prepared.
So that was a big aspect of the game. The whole piece there is the complexity of the game is not as deep as I think it is, and here's a reason why. I think it's higher on the BGG than what we felt in what we did today with the demoing of it.
Okay.
Here's why. I think this theme of this game is going to get people, maybe like me, right, who want to learn about that aspect of history, are engendered to bring in biblical or historical things like that as a game to buy them, but maybe they don't play heavy Euros. So in their mind, this is a 4.5, Like,
Yeah.
I'd never played a game this heavy before.
Oh yeah.
You know, here's a game. It's a game based on the Old Testament by a Christian designer. I want to play it. Oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah. Could be. So bringing in a new
I think
crowd,
that
new audience.
maybe skewed that level up there on the BGG because I don't think it was
4.8 is or a 3.9 or 3.8 or whatever. Yeah. That's pretty complex. So I didn't quite feel it was quite there. Yeah. So a little easier than I think the rating shows.
I'm looking forward to getting a full beans on this one out there. I wanted to give you the impression on the rules, what it was like to learn it, what it was like to demo it.
Yeah.
But I want to give a full impression of the game. We need to get a full game together.
That's why I think the weight, you're saying you don't think it's as heavy as the weight, but if you take into account the setup and other aspects of it, like it's so like weight's such a hard thing to judge on BGG, right? Because it's so subjective. Like because we know people that will only weight based upon the complexity of the rules.
Yeah.
And will only weight based upon how like dynamic the game can be, or so it's like it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And the video I watched Paul Grogan for Gaming Rules, and
he's awesome.
He's really good. Yeah, I like him a lot.
But how many of his videos have we watched that are 45, 50 minutes long on a teach?
This one was 33 minutes, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And he goes through things pretty quick. And I'll admit that as I was watching it, my head was spinning a little bit because I didn't have the game in front of me. I was just kind of watching what he was doing, and so it was. When I actually sat down though and at Carlos's house here and got to see the board and got to see the stuff, I was like, oh, okay, now I can see how things kind of chain together, how they relate to each other. So
those decision points, they're so fun though.
Yeah.
You got a card that you decide how to use it for its banners to take main actions, or the trade action at the bottom, or you want to tuck it away and never see that card again just for its Sabbath scoring.
Or in-game scoring.
So I remember Rob tucked a card. Oh, I want to score that right now. He tucked it away and he goes, you know what? I never looked at the card. Oh, no. I like the actions on this card and I like the trade. I'm going to forego some points this round just so that I can keep that card in my cycle.
Play that again in the future. Yeah.
Now I apologize.
I can't wait to play it.
I apologize if I missed it because I had a step, phone call. But knowing the historical biblical connections, do you already see that well enough in the game, or is it kind of just the name slapped on a theme?
No, they did a very good job of connecting theme, right? So as an example, when you're rebuilding the temple, you can only take wood, stone, or gold to get into that temple. Gold gives you the most victory points when you put it into the temple itself. You can't use the cinders resource in the temple. We don't want that in the temple, right? Cinders. But when you go to the altar, the only thing you can take to the altar are the cinders and the wood. That's the only thing that's going to be burning in the altar.
Feed the fire.
Then when you send workers to go be Levites in the temple, you no longer have to feed them. So you're feeding all of your people except for any of your people that have become Levites, because historically they gave up all of their inheritances from their family to join the temple. The temple, the tithes that were taken in by the temple were what was used to take care of the Levites. So like that right there is that connection. The titles of the folks on the cards and their trade actions matched. The building of the wall, clearing the rubble, building the wall, it does a good job. And then the scrolls themselves, there's got to be 5, 10, probably 20 different scrolls on that triangle that I'm thinking of, Rob.
Yeah.
Underneath every single one is a scripture from the Old Testament that talks about the building. So like I was telling my wife this, like this is the game that I would like to turn into a Bible study. Like let's go through the different verses of the building of the temple and really see how it connects with the theme of the game and how Shem did at connecting the two together. So yes, Wayne, short answer, so far I'm seeing the connections and feeding your people. Got to feed your people. Now the piece that I'm missing is the metal coins.
Not loving it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Apparently
I
Shem...
I kind of like in Stone Age where you just feed the people with wood.
Yeah. Eat this wood.
Apparently they went realistic with the design of the silver coins. They used images from silver coins of that time,
That era,
and they do sell the metal coins online. So Melissa gave me the head nod yesterday when she saw me scrolling through their website, like, wish casting, like, I wish I had these.
Go ahead.
Yes, I got the okay to get the metal coins. I'm excited about that.
Cool.
It really felt like, and I know I don't want to get into a full beans on. I'm just really excited about this play. It really felt like White Castle, right? But if White Castle was only a third of the game.
White Castle was so light 2 weeks ago, Carlos. You're good.
Yeah. Too quick.
There was a lot of the feelings that I got out of White Castle that I got in this game, but like it didn't end in 45 minutes. Like it.
But that's a good contrast, though, right? So White Castle is still a game that you can play on a weeknight. Ezra Nehemiah is a game that you can't really crank out on a weeknight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a couple hours probably. Well, yeah, hour and a half maybe once you get it all down. But
All right, let's see the comments in the chat because they are
Got a bunch of them.
They are there. Odak wanted to be first. He got it.
yay!
Those 3 dots means you guys are late.
Oh, is that what that was?
Waiting.
This is the comments, I think, when we were talking about Rob and Emmy, the drop off. Jason Dunham says Tony Orlando loves Catan.
Okay.
That it's a Tony Orlando. Yeah, okay.
Is it a thing? Okay.
Jason says new games played. He played Cities.
Oh, Cities, nice.
Rubber, Paper, Scissors, and Windmill Valley.
Okay.
I've heard some good things about Windmill Valley. That's one of the new ones that came out, I think, at Gen Con, right? Yeah.
Yep. It's blowing up on the stuff. So, and Cities is good. Bandon vs. Meeple just did a playthrough on Cities.
They got a really good review on that one.
Yeah, it looked fun. I liked real light, but it looks like a lot of fun. Actually, looks like a light game that I'd like to play. So.
Yeah, you like your city building games.
Yeah, it's good.
He also says really enjoyed Raiders of the North Sea.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people like Raiders. Yeah.
I have the deluxe copy with everything, but we don't have to play everything. But certainly, if you ever wanted to give it another shot, I'd be down to play that. I enjoy that game a lot.
Cool.
I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have to.
It really is fun. I think if you like Lords of Waterdeep, then once you play Raiders a couple times, it's like, okay, I can see where this is a good game.
And also, I will say, I was in a mode at that time of Champions of Midgard. Like, we were big Champions of Midgard. These are 2 Viking worker placement games.
Similar-ish.
And I know we had played Champions of Midgard that same day. I think we had played it.
Probably.
So for me, it was that comparison of, wow, this is way over the top complex compared to like a Champions of Midgard.
Yep. Escape WinterCon.
Jason says most played games for the week are Nar, Colorado,
Nar's good.
and now is that Loot?
It's Loot.
I'm not sure which Loot
With all
that
the
is.
O's.
Is that Dr. K, Reiner Knizia, his pirate card game Loot?
Oh, I think it's a new game.
It's a new game.
Oh, it's a new
yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, pretty new game.
There's an extra O. I should know that.
Yep.
That wasn't.
It's the extra oath makes
Nar's a really good game, man.
I like Nar.
Been playing it a ton on BGA, but also played it a few times in person this year. And it is like a $30 game from Pandasaurus Games, or under $30 game. And it's the gameplay that you get out of that for the price is perfect.
Yeah, it was nominated to the Dice Tower Awards for
Yes, it did.
one of the awards. I forget which one it was.
I'm remembering that now.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it. Never played it.
Welcoming Game. That's what it was. It was nominated for Welcoming Game.
You'd like it, Carlos. It's a light card drafting playing game where you're building tags to increase your stats, and it's good.
You said tags?
Yeah, there's tags. There's kind of tags, yeah, sort of tags. It's a good game. You'd enjoy it.
Semi tags, not full on tags. Just semi.
Semi tags.
Semi tags.
Let's see. Chad says Raiders is my fave too from Garfield Games.
Popular one.
Yeah, with you.
It says
That was like a second. That Raiders was what, their second game or first game?
It was the first in that series.
because then we played the next. I did play the next one, which was the one
I played them all
with the boats.
once or twice.
Shipwrights of the North Sea.
Shipwrights.
And
That might have been the
Architects.
one I also did not like.
There you go. Yeah, we definitely did not like Shipwrights. We played that at
Yeah.
Dice Tower.
Yeah.
The other 2 games in the North Sea trilogy were not particularly good.
Yeah.
Raiders is by far the best of those.
Yeah.
Chad says it embedded an axe straight into my heart. Odak is commenting on the 3.8 weight of Ezra and Nehemiah.
848 heavy.
I love the next comment. This is great.
Heaviest game I own, says Jason, is Everdell Complete Collection. Got to be 35 pounds.
Yeah, there you go. It's no Gloomhaven, but
Chris from Pop and Tot in the
Hey,
chat.
Chris.
Hello, Chris. Check out the channel Pop and Tot, where they talked about their top 5 mechanics. I think was the last video I
yeah,
watched.
I think that was the last one. Yep.
Yep. Good evening, he says. And then Chad says, did you have to ask a king if it was okay for you to go and play Ezra and Nehemiah? That is in the Bible. the king or Ezra, the king actually gave him permission to go to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple.
Oh,
So
Okay.
it's a Bible
biblical
joke.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
Bible
Biblical
joke.
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Aaron Clark says, I've reacquired Raiders and
And
reacquired.
architects. Yeah.
That sucks when you have to reacquire something.
I like architects. I'd like to give some of the others played, including Ezra and Nehemiah. Yeah.
I'm giving thumbs up to Ezra and Nehemiah. I'm not a huge Euro gamer. Like for me, a Euro game has to connect theme and mechanisms for me to enjoy it. So far, this one is rising. When this board gets updated,
Oh,
I'm gonna have a couple of plays in,
we're gonna see.
and we'll see.
Make that big board.
We'll see.
The app of Raiders of North Sea is fantastic.
Yeah, I own the Steam version of it, and it is really good.
Okay.
Like, the artwork is really cool. It's
The
kind of
artwork's
interactive.
gorgeous.
Yeah, but the app, they like really take that artwork from the game into the app, and it like pops at you and like animates a little bit. It's really pretty good. The Steam version is pretty nice.
Okay. Cool.
We have
They-
played. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if you watched their report. It's like the in-flight report from Shem and whatever.
Oh,
I don't know what they call it.
They were talking about
Um,
some game expansions
Yeah,
and
they had,
stuff.
well, they,
Yep.
they announced 3 expansions to their South Tigris series, and like if you have all 3 expansions, you can create like this solo campaign of all 3 games, which I thought was interesting. But they did say that they plan on releasing more of their games on BGA, but that it's going to be very slow, like one a
Okay.
year. Like
Hmm.
there's one that's in testing now that should be out by the end of the year. I forget what they said it was. Maybe it was one of the other Architects games or West Kingdom games, but
Okay.
that they were going to maybe start releasing more of those into on BGA, but it's going to be slow. Which is,
PGA is really taking off. We can talk about that topic separate, but
Yeah.
they're rolling out the new games.
Oh
It's
my
just
God,
it's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, just constantly new games.
I haven't
coming
been
out.
on in months.
Oh, it's there's a lot on there now.
harmonies, like all like there's tons of the games that are big right now this year are now on BGA already.
Already, yeah.
I was gonna say we played Circadians. First Light, I think it is.
Yep. Circadian's first light.
Or,
Yep.
or Last Light, or no, First Light.
First
Last
Light.
Light is Roy Kennedy.
First light. Yeah. Last light's
First Light was Circadians.
Yep.
The artist on that is Shem's brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
He also did the art for Ezra and Nehemiah. I can see much improvement.
Yeah.
From that art. Is that a Shem Phillips game too? Circadians?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it's coming to BGA.
that Sam
'cause
McDonald?
It's coming to BGA also.
That might be Sam McDonald.
Sam McDonald, maybe.
Yeah.
I have to look. That sounds right. But yeah, Circadians is coming to BGA. That's in alpha right now, I think, on BGA. So, yep. And Orleans is on BGA now. I'm in a beta game of Orleans on BGA. So, one of my favorites. Yeah.
Didn't you win your the premium subscription to be able to do the betas?
No.
Good man.
On and off. Yeah. Month by month. Yeah.
Roger Moore says, I think I have to disagree with Champions being less complex than Raiders. They are close, but Champions has a lot more going on with worker spots, etc. I would definitely give it another try. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm glad to have someone here. Anyone champions. I love my champions.
I put them on a similar scale there, I think.
I think it's that pool place and pool.
Oh, put one, pull one. Yeah.
It was just a bit much for me. There's a lot more planning involved there.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to think about 2 things at once. Yeah.
Chad Stilson says Scythe is on BGA.
Yeah. Has it gotten any better? I don't know. I haven't seen the final.
Oh, yeah, I made a comment that in the chat that Rob and I both played, I think, an alpha version of Scythe.
Yeah, it was
on
alpha
BGA,
or beta, but yeah, it was
and
rough.
the user interface was just
Yeah, I
garbage.
hope they fix some stuff because it was
Yeah.
bad. Yeah,
It
it
was
was
pretty
almost borderline unplayable. I mean,
It
it
really
was.
was.
It wasn't fun to play. Yeah,
The Steam version is great, though. Yes, Chad will say that later.
Oh,
in
yeah,
chat. Yeah.
for sure.
He says, "Oh well, the Steam side is great.
It
he
is.
is
Steam,
right.
Steam Scythe is really, and I think that's part of the problem is the Steam implementation of Scythe is so good,
Mm-hmm.
and the BGA version is so bad. Like usually there's
Yeah.
at least some, we understand Steam is like big time companies that are, professional developers. A lot of times BGAs like it's like volunteer work almost sometimes for some of these games getting developed.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I was gonna ask with Shem talking about with Garfield talking about one a year. Do you think it's because of development costs? Like, who pays for the development of that?
So, like, honestly, I don't know if this is 100% accurate. So if anyone knows more, please correct us, comment later on the show if you're watching it. But as far as I know, yeah. So a company could pay a developer to do it. But also, there are some games that are like fan developed that like they like. I think Chris, I forget his name from.
Scafidi?
No, Chris from the Tabletop Game Talk. He's like a
Yes.
programmer as his daytime job, and he was programming a game on BGA for a company, right? Yeah, I remember him talking about it. So it's kind of a hodgepodge. Like BGA doesn't necessarily pay to have the games developed. You have to develop the game for BGA. So that's why there's somewhat different rule sets. Like not every game has an undo button. Not every game has a little hamburger thing with all the options. So it really is, there's some sort of disparate development of the games where yeah.
You guys, your food, you call it a hamburger. He calls it a Twinkie.
No, those are two different menus. Those are two completely different menus.
Okay. Hamburger's the flat one, Twinkie's the
Twinkie's
dots.
the dots.
Okay,
There you go.
All right, sorry. My bad.
My fat butt.
Hamburger.
Everything looks like food to me.
That's what they call it. They call it hamburger. Anyway,
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. All right.
Okay. Oh, Aaron Clark here saying my lone play this week was Distilled. Enjoyed it very much. Especially really interesting Distill phase. Wayne, I call him. So I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of the theme. As someone who homebrewed beer and didn't distill because it's illegal to distill, but I aged.
Be careful.
Yes, it's illegal to distill.
We're on the
internet. Yes. No, but I will age my own spirits. Like I would buy unaged rums or unaged whiskeys and put them in barrels and age them and things like that. They really nailed the art of distilling and how it works and the angels and devil share and the cuts and how that works. I didn't like the game the first time I played it in person. I wasn't thrilled with the game the first time I played it in person. Played it more on BGA. It's a very tight game. You only have those 7 turns. And like, so if by like turn 1 or turn 2 or 3, you're not already aging a spirit, it's hard to win, right? You have to really ramp up quickly in that game. But I enjoy it, and I'm really enjoying it more and more. I played a few times solo this year, and then a bunch on BGA. So
I think an expansion is coming out.
Is it? Oh.
They have one out already called Cask Strength. And
does this fix the concern with the flop?
Your concern. It does fix. No, not necessarily with the flop.
Well,
but you know how like if you
not the brewing one. I love that where you're not sure exactly how the brew's going to come out. My concern is like the items and the ingredients that come out that are available. You know, you might get mana screwed in the sense of like Magic the Gathering. Like I can't find corn.
I think it does fix some of that. It does fix the rarity of the special ingredients. Like you need millet or you need corn specifically for your ingredient. There's more of that. So yeah, I've read. I haven't played it. I need to buy it myself. I'm going to buy it soon
because I really did love the presentation of that game.
Yeah, it's great.
The user interface of the game and the theme, like all those things hit so well for me. Yeah. It was just the feeling of you've flipped a card and it was something that you needed to buy and you bought it. The next card that came out was not what I needed. There's nothing on this market that I can use to help make what I need.
Yeah. I do think Cask Strength fixes some of those issues. And certainly an expansion would fix it even more, or maybe even a home rule on how you can find those ingredients. Yeah.
Talking about BGA here, One Mic, One Game says, Rob, play your last move on Federation so we can finish it already.
Nope, I'm just going to say
I'm doing so bad in this game.
I'm liking Federation. I know Mike put in the Discord that the more he's playing it, the more he's liking it. Yeah. I'm agreeing. I've only played it. This is my third game, and I'm liking it. Each time I play it, I'm liking it more. It's good.
Is the time coming down, like the time commitment?
Not so much.
Okay.
No, it's still
in person. Long. I think it would be different, but I think it's my issue, especially in this game, is I forgot a million times which of the medals I had, and I would make a move thinking I was going to get a medal, and then realize, oh crap, I already got that move.
Already got that medal. Nope.
Yeah, but no, it's a good game. It's Carlos, I think you like it because of that Senate mechanism where you have two sides of the Senate, and where you play your tokens, votes on the Senate to get victory points. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's definitely grown on me as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in it, but it's good. Yeah.
Roger Moore says, to me, he says, I do like Champions more, though, but Raiders is right there. Glad to see that.
Okay.
I'm a big Champions fan.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Chad still sitting back in the chat. The Steam version or the Steam side is great. I think we did that one.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's better, but still rough, says James Odak. I think for me, it was that one tournament I joined, and I've never played Scythe again.
Oh, yeah.
That was
away.
That was when I first started. I think that's almost back when I first started watching your show before I joined, before I called in. And I remember you were like live streaming you playing the Scythe digital tournament on Steam.
I got steamrolled,
Oh
bro.
my
God.
That was
just like
embarrassing.
Over quick. Yeah.
you were like the guy from Simpsons going, wee.
Just pushing buttons, doing stuff. Yeah, you got to know that game.
Chad says, I've seen some BGA games that will tell you if the game or the tutorial was made by a regular Joe.
Okay.
I think they have ways to donate some money to them.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah.
Buy them a coffee or Patreon type stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what's interesting with BGA, and that's what I love is unlike Tabletop Simulator, where it's kind of all just Wild West, and some of those aren't really approved by the developer or the owner of the game. Everything on BGA is approved by the owner or the company or the designer, but it could be that the company's paying for someone to develop it. Like, so maybe the Stonemaier games are probably paying someone to develop it. But then there's also just, I really love this game and I'm a programmer and I'd like to develop your game for BGA. And the company would be like, okay, fine. If you want to do it, go for it. And it's like, I'm just going to do it for free because I love the game. So it's like this spectrum of games there, which is cool. But also sometimes like, why doesn't that is like, they should have every game needs an undo button.
Oh yeah. Some standards. Yeah. Some base
standards.
rules.
Yeah.
Aaron Clark says he's talking about his play of Distilled. So we're kind of continuing that a little bit. I didn't play super efficient, but loved what it was doing. Not sure if it's one I'll add to my collection, but it feels like a unique design. That one was on my to buy list, and that's exactly how I walked away, Aaron.
Yep.
Where I was like, oh man, I want to buy this, Let's play this so that I can have my excuse to buy it.
Yep. And we played it, and we were both like,
Wayne, you want to buy it?
Yeah.
That's what I this was one of the ones that was on Kickstarter where I was like, it was right towards my I'm not doing any more Kickstarters, which I've failed miserably at because I've done 25 since then. But
nice.
I didn't kickstart this, and I kicked myself for it. Then I played it, and I was like, I'm glad I didn't kickstart this because they overproduced. The price wasn't worth it. But then I got it half off at the clearance sale at Your Turn, and I'm like, well, for $50, it's worth it, right?
Oh
so,
Yep. Agree.
Question in the chat here. NSF3SM says, apologies for the noob question. Are you all playing more board games on Steam now? My short answer, no.
No, not
don't
me.
apologize for a question. There's no such thing as a noob question. Go for it.
No. Yeah, you're good. But no, I don't.
Wayne's such a nice guy.
Yeah, for both of us, definitely no. I played on Steam more before I really got into BGA, and now I spend a lot of time on BGA.
I have probably 20 or 30 games that I've bought on Steam, and probably more than half of them are now on BGA. And I just mostly play on BGA.
Board Game Arena, just for anybody who might not know, BGA.
I don't think we even said it.
Yeah, Board Game Arena is that, and so they've got a free service, they've got a pay service. Pay service, you can start more games, you can play. With the free service, you can play any of the games, but you can't start new games.
Premium games
in certain categories. But you can play any of the games as long as you either have somebody else start it for you, or there's always just games that you can just jump into that are open to the public that somebody else has started. But there's the pay service allows you just free access. I don't know what the pay service is, like $30 a year.
$30 a year. It's ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, it's not expensive, and that allows you to start as many games as you want. Their catalog now is hundreds of games. I don't think it's thousands yet, but it's probably getting close.
And there's a lot of really good games.
Yeah,
and I think the other thing too is after you've played, I think it's 500 or 1,000 games, not 1,000, probably 500 maybe. And you have access to the alpha games and the beta games and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, you can test new games that are coming out, and you can even do reviews on there. You can do how-to. You can sign up to do a how-to video, and you send it to them. And if they use how to play video, they'll actually pay you for it. So yeah, you can do all kinds of cool stuff on there. So yeah.
I'll say that the games I play on Steam are the ones that are either 2-player or really good to play against yourself, with solo, like Twilight Imperium or something like that. Not Twilight Struggle, excuse me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, Concordia. So Concordia on Steam, Yeah, that's about it.
About it, Concordia.
And Dune.
Oh yeah, James.
Odak brought it up. Dune. I played. I know Ix is new. I think it's a new addition to that, but Dune is a great one on Steam.
Yeah, I haven't tried that on there.
Odak says he's been playing Clank on Steam lately and Dune Ix on Steam.
Okay.
Chad Stinson says, I once won a 3-player game of Scythe using the modular board, which we still, I really want to get that to the table.
Yeah, you haven't played that yet. I played it a couple times now.
Board expansion in 30 minutes. Such a fluke.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the right combinations in there. The one we played that we were alpha, Wayne was in it, and a couple of other people, and I kind of blitzed it. I mean, just everything seemed to fall right into place for me, and I won that. I don't remember how many moves it was, but it felt like that was over quick. So I know Wayne was happy about that because he was not enjoying it. That interface was rough there on the PGA.
Oh, that's the Scythe game? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it was bad. Like I have only played Scythe once in person and a few times on Steam. And so I couldn't figure out how to do stuff in the UI. I would, because you know how you get when you do a move, you get the top and the bottom or however that works. But I couldn't figure out where to do the other actions. So I would just get so frustrated. I was like, screw it, cancel. I'm done with my turn. They're like, are you sure you still have options left? I'm like, F it, I'm done. Move along. I can't figure out where to click.
Just end my turn.
Just end my turns. So there were probably half of the turns in the BGA version of Scythe where I was just like, I'm just done. I can't figure out where to click to get the benefit that I'm supposed to get. So it wasn't intuitive at all. It was bad.
I had a few of those moments, and I know the game pretty well. And I had a few. It was like, hold on, where am I supposed to click to do the thing? So yeah, it was pretty rough. And then especially just the stuff on the map, you had to zoom all the way in on the map to find your different characters, and your workers were just little dots. So it was like I had to click on this little dot and click on where I wanted it to go to, and the little dot would just jump over.
Was this all touchscreen or computer?
It was all the computer, so it was all on
mouse.
With mouse and keyboard, and then the mechs, you couldn't tell. I guess the mechs doesn't matter what mechs what, but it's just a little picture of a mech on a little square, and so you just click the mech and move the mech, and your leader was a similar, I think it was a little circle, but unless you zoomed in, you couldn't tell hardly the difference between your mechs and your leader. So it was rough. Like I say, I'll have to try it now that they've got it the full production version out and see what improvements they made. But I know there was a lot of feedback. I was looking at some of the feedback in BGA from the alpha. And a lot of people were complaining about the interface and the look of it, so it wasn't just us. But
it was even just the little your people on the map of Scythe. They were like little dots.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, you have to zoom all the way in. Yeah, I'll zoom all the way in, find your dot, click on the dot, click on where you wanted it to go, and then it would just pop over there and be like, oh, okay, my dot moved. So yeah, all your little workers were just little dots. Yep. So anyway, but. Real quick, just my finishing out. I don't know if you had other games you wanted to talk about. So my only game.
Remind folks, it's a phone.
Phone show. Yeah, call it.
813-618-7099 is the number.
You can call and talk to us. Don't be intimidated. We're just here hanging out. But anyway, my only gaming experiences over the last couple of weeks has just been all Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, Jaws of the Lion related. So I got in. We got in a session of Frosthaven last week with Nick and Wayne. We did replayed a mission that we had failed the week before, and we beat it fairly easily, which is usually the case the second time through. And once we kind of know what's coming at us, we're able to get through it usually pretty easily the second time. So we did that. We had some fun with the city phase, and we discovered we made a mistake that kind of messed up a couple of our scenarios that we'd already played through and beat. But we're trying to.
Didn't you mention you went down a path you weren't supposed to go down?
Yeah, we were. There was a just at the end of one of the things. It said, "Open the puzzle book now and turn to page 1 and start your first puzzle." Well, we never opened the puzzle book, and so we weren't supposed to be able to do the next couple scenarios until we solved the puzzles.
I think you said it was Nick and Wayne, not Nick and Wayne. It was Nick.
Nick and Joe. Did I say
Joe,
Wayne?
Right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure you said Wayne.
I probably did. My bad. But no, Nick and Joe.
I'm not playing Frosthaven.
Yeah, Wayne was in there with
Don't
us.
you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
He jumped in there with us. But no, so we're still really enjoying that. And then my daughter, I just to kind of touch base back on that, I had mentioned that we were trying to blitz through the end of Jaws of the Lion, which I had been playing with her for a little while now. We wanted to see, because she was going to college, so we wanted to see how many scenarios were left. So we did kind of just quickly say, all right, this path's going to lead to there, that's going to lead to the next one. And we mathed it out depending on which path we went. It was either going to be 4 more scenarios or 5 more scenarios. And so we played 2 So we either have 2 or 3 left, but we couldn't quite finish them all.
that's it?
Yeah, so we're just like 2 or 3 scenarios away. So we packed it up, put it away. I've got it on the shelf. It's Carlos's version, so I got to get it back to him eventually. But we packed it up, put it on the shelf. So I'm saying, Thanksgiving or one of the holidays when she comes home soon, we'll blitz through that, get the last couple done.
Carlos is shaking his head like, no, you don't have to get it back.
Yeah, he's never going to get back to that.
I got my 5 plays.
Yeah.
I had a good time with those 5 plays.
We opened tuck boxes. I didn't realize that there were boxes with extra stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
So there's extra little figures and stuff.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Oh,
my wife and I are just.
when
me and my wife.
Well, if you just look in the box, you can see that it's all in there. But
I know,
guess
but I'm not opening them.
Yeah, we just kind of forget about it because you put it away, and we're using the same components every time, and so it's like we hit a thing. It's not spoiling anything for you, but you're going to hit when you get your characters to a certain level. It says there's a card that says stop, and it says now go open this box, and you open the box and there's stuff in there, and it's like, oh, this is cool. So something Carlos never got to because he never got that far into it. So
no, we had just started stickering the map.
Yeah,
and those videos are great. You can look them up on our channel. We still have them up. 5 plays we played live here in studio
a couple years ago.
Other than the stickers on the map, really that game is very resettable.
Oh yeah,
my wife and I think we're like mission 14ish.
Yeah,
13, 14 that range. So we're like 60% through. And I'm like, well, when I get through with this, I'm just going to reset it and give it to a friend because it's easy to reset. But
well, that's basically what I did. I'm playing Carlos's version, and like he said, we had gotten 5 or 6 scenarios in when we played it before, and there's just Sharpie or whatever. We took Sharpie and we were coloring in the blocks, but so now me and my daughter are just using a pencil and we're just circling the Sharpie spots of the places that we've been to or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's almost completely resettable.
It's like what, $40, $30?
Yeah. It's been on sale for 25, I think. Sometimes.
Even lower.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just want to throw out Roger Moore here. He said that he agrees with me with the Scythe playing turn-based and there's a frustration where it doesn't walk you through anything. But there's a key at the top of the screen. I have to go look for that key the next time I play.
That might be new. Yeah.
But I do want to. I see a little. I'm going to shout him out. That on his little YouTube logo here it says Boards and Beers. So I wonder if he has a show called Boards and Beers.
Oh, nice. Okay. I see that.
We got to look that up. So
yeah.
Okay, Roger, cool. If you do have if you're on a show or you do a show called Boards and Beers, please call in and talk about it because we'd love to hear. So
yeah, tell us what you do, what it's all about.
We like boards and we like beer, so
yeah, we're fans.
You got me on both.
We're fans.
You had me at Boards and Beer.
Yep, for sure.
I'm looking it up right now.
Boards and Beers. All right, cool.
And I think that's really all of what we've been playing. And we answered some questions in the chat. I know we had a few
things. I mean, I did have
news items that we wanted to talk about.
I got to be honest. I did have a board game play this week.
Okay.
I played Monopoly.
Monopoly? Oh, I was gonna say what? I was gonna guess. I was gonna say, was it Monopoly? Really? Yeah. You actually played Monopoly?
It was so my someone knows that I'm a board gamer and knows that my kid likes playing board games. So for Christmas he got the Mandalorian or the Star Wars version of Monopoly. So it's like Baby Yoda themed. And I gotta say, it was okay. I had fun because it was he took it out. He's like, Dad, I played Monopoly at with his friend Gus's house, and he's like, I like to play this. I'm like, okay, fine. And like 2 of his friends came over and they got into it. They're not big board gamers, but what I loved about it is it was like, you know how in regular Monopoly, each of the big like housing locations have 3 houses. They shrunk the board, so everything's 2 houses. So the board is all shorter. So you're getting around the board faster with your die rolls.
Okay.
And then it went quicker, and we played by the actual rules of Monopoly, not with all the crazy, free parking rules. And we were done in 45 minutes. It wasn't horrible. Yeah, it was 45 minutes, quick game. Because again, the shorter board. I mean, you're looking at probably 12 less spaces around the board, and worked out quick. The kids all picked up on it quick. The whole idea of if I get both of the thing, I put some houses out there, I put some whatever. Paying rent, 10-year-olds, they racked it really quick. And it was not a bamboo under my nails type of experience. It was not something I would love to do on a regular basis, but anytime, my kid loves games, but anytime his friends all want to go, hey, let's play this game. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And they enjoyed it. They had fun. So it was good. It's, Star Wars theme, so it worked out well. But yeah, so my one play this week was Star Wars Monopoly.
Make sure you record it in BG Stats.
Get it in there. So you see what Roger said there about the so he said he used to have a podcast but about 5 years ago, lost his co-host. So I guess it sounds like it fell apart. So
yeah. I think the episode's still on iTunes. Oh, yeah, cool. Very cool.
I gotta say, Roger, this is a fun part of the hobby. Like this is just another like branch of the gaming hobby. This content creation, podcasting piece, and I'm sure it stinks to have to miss it, because I know I'd miss it if it was gone.
Yeah,
this is fun. Speaking of recording plays, I read an article on Stonemeyer's website, his blog, and he talked about Wingspan, and some of the items that he talked about in here had to do with why Wingspan is so beloved, how this community continues to grow, what are the aspects of the game that really makes it hit. But I think for me, one of the biggest pieces that I got out of this article had to do with how many people are recording plays of this game. Like it's insane to think about how many people on BGG have recorded plays of Wingspan. The top games played between 2000 and 2023 on BGA has it listed as Wingspan over Arc Nova, and then followed by Cascadia. These are games that are plays that are recorded on BGA.
BGA or BGG?
I'm sorry, BGG. Yes.
Yeah. Now, does BG Stats integrate with BGG? So if
you can. So my BGG account is connected to my BG Stats, and they will sync.
Yeah.
So what if that's part of it? Is like in the last few years, more and more gamers have got BG Stats and linked it. Because I mean, like I think I've logged maybe 5 plays in BGG as I've played this game. Like,
have you not linked your profile to BG Stats?
I don't own BG Stats.
Okay. He's got a diary. Dear diary.
I've got my Excel.
Carlos destroyed me in White Castle today.
Oh,
I didn't record. I didn't record it, so it didn't happen.
That one didn't get recorded.
How Rob is, where he's not willing to spend the $30 on BGA, is me not willing to spend the $4.99 on BG Stats.
There you go. Let's see, monthly recorded players on BGA. Let's see, they got some data in here. Monthly recorded players, 5,706 recorded players of Wingspan.
Yeah,
that's a lot. They sold over 2 million copies.
Well, and you think about it, that's just people. You got to think about it. That is just people who have an account on BGG, blog that they own the game on BGG, bought the BG Stats app, and log their plays on BG Stats, and link it back to BGG. So, like, think about that funnel of
subsection of what the true number is. Yeah,
right. So, if 5,700 people a month are logging plays, you got to
10 times that. I mean, at least, right?
You got to do. Yeah, it's got to be at least 5 times that.
Yeah,
at least.
That's crazy.
A lot of plays,
and then that's not including BGA plays.
Yeah, I'm in a game of it on BGA right now.
Steam plays. I'm in at least two games of Wingspan on BGA right now.
Yeah.
There's a Steam implementation. There's a Switch implementation. So add up all that. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
He talks about how they have a relatively new newsletter for the Wingspan brand that's going to outpace and surpass the number of subscribers for their monthly Stonemeyer Games newsletter. So just people who are interested in Wingspan,
just Wingspan,
exceeds the people who are asking for newsletters about Stonemeyer in general.
Games. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of recorded plays.
Big,
great for them. Yeah.
That's a retirement game right there.
Yeah, great for Stonemeyer, great for Elizabeth Hargrave. Yeah, good stuff.
That's the news topic that I brought to the table. Do y'all have any news topics you want to share with the folks?
Not necessarily a news topic, but I would like to maybe bring up speaking of Stonemeyer.
Stonemeyer,
yeah. He announced a new game coming out. The Stamp game, was it called?
Oh gosh, what's the name of it?
Damn it, you played it, Rob. Come on.
I did. I played it well. I don't remember if it was called the same thing when we played it at the Stonemeyer Design Day. And to be honest, I can't remember for the life of me if Dan played that one with me or not. I'm thinking he did not.
Stamp Swap.
Stamp Swap. That is what it was called. Yeah, that is what it was called. So yeah, it's on me. But my memory here, it just turned 50 last week. But
that's right.
Anyway, so I got a good excuse. Yeah, I'm done. It's all downhill from here. But Stamp Swap. This was I think I came back, and I'll have to go back and watch the episode after I came back, but I think I said this was my game of the design day. I mean, this one was pretty polished, pretty refined. I can't remember, the designer of this had done another game that was super popular just a couple of years ago. He was coming fresh off of that one, and was it Honey Buzz? It might have been Honey Buzz. I think
it is.
Yeah, same guy who did Honey Buzz, and I forget the name. If somebody can hit me with that in a minute. But anyway, this was hit a lot of good buttons for me. There's drafting. There's I cut, you choose. There's tile placement. You're placing tiles and trying to fit them into a stamp book and make everything fit. Paul Solomon. Yep, that's it. Solomon. Yep, that's the guy, designer. Stonemaier Games. This one, it looked
Genotype
different.
and Honey Buzz. Yep.
Okay, there you go. Yep, Genotype, Honey Buzz. Those two big names, two big games, and this looked quite a bit different when I played it. It didn't have all the flashy colors and all the really cool looking stamps. It was mostly kind of hand drawn-ish artwork. It was a little better than hand drawn, but in any case, it was still pretty in its infancy.
Prototype.
Yeah, pretty prototypey. Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking for. But this one hit a lot of good buttons for me, and I think this is going to be super popular. It was simple enough that I think it's borderline welcoming game, but it's got that level of that I cut, you choose. There's some good decisions there. There's drafting, because you draft stuff before you do the I cut, you choose, and then that whole thing of you're going to give something away, but you get to keep something, and somebody's going to hand you some other stuff. You're trying to mess up the person next to you because you're trying to change the options that they've got. There's set collection. You're trying to collect different sets of stuff to score points. There are variable goals. I forget what they call them in this, but each time you play, you're going to put out, I think it's 4 different types of objectives that you're going for this game. And each round of the game, if I remember, it's either 6 and you choose 4, or it's 4 and you choose 3. But anyway, they're placed out there ahead of time. And so at the end of each round of the game, you are going to put a token on the one that you want to score at the end. And so as you play the game and as you start building up your stamp book and your stamp collection, you then can choose each round. I'm sorry, I said at the end of the game. I'm sorry. You score at the end of each round. And so you're going to choose one of those objectives that you're going to score at the end of that round. And so your objective from round to round to round, you can never score the same one twice. So you're going to choose different objectives as you go through. So you're going to keep rebuilding and kind of placing your stamps to try to fill different varying objectives. And so it's pretty cool. And the reserve is something new I saw on the thing. That's new since I played it. But now I guess after you do your drafting, you can reserve one of the stamps that you don't have to put out there for the I cut, you choose. So that is definitely something that's evolved since then. But
it looks cool. Like after you pick the stamps, you flip them over to see like their value, or maybe it's a lucky stamp or a foil stamp or something like that.
That's new since I played it. So that's a change to it. So yeah, they've definitely added some things. So the version I played is slightly different. But yeah, looks like there are 4 objectives. And I think you end up choosing 3 of the 4 as you play through the 3 rounds of the game. But yeah, there was some really cool things, and looks like they've got a lot of variability from what I was seeing online. There's a good stack of those end of round objectives that you can randomly put out each game. There's some variability in the stamps that come out that are available. There were different types of stamps. If I remember, there were like 3 or 4 different classes, and so you could try to collect all of a certain type or a certain there were animal stamps. You could go big on just trying to collect animal stamps and get points that way. It was a lot of different options, and so it really made it fun. And then, like I say, I'm big for drafting. I'm big for I cut, you choose. So this hit a lot of good notes for me.
So what's funny is like I saw the game, I read about it, and I was thinking, oh, this kind of has the weight of like Footsteps of Darwin ish, right? That kind of that weight. But then I'm like, well, but it's drafting, it's I split, you choose. So I'm like, I don't know if that would work well with a family, like my wife and kid type thing. But the way you're talking about it, like you're hyped on this after playing it like once as a demo, like a year ago or 2 years ago at the Stonemaier Design
Couple years,
Days.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like, man, I might have to really think about this. Like, because
it's a step up. It's definitely a step up from Footsteps of Darwin. There's a little more going on in it. There's a couple more mechanisms that you've got to figure out. But it's again, I'd say it's borderline family, borderline welcoming game. It's maybe that next step, maybe. But I didn't mean to cut you off there. But yeah,
you're good.
Yeah. I think it's going to be popular. I think it's going to be a pretty big hit. It's going to be another good one for Stonemaier.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it is really gorgeous. I mean, and it doesn't seem like a I bet you the MSRP is not going to be out of reach. And then I'm a Stonemaier champion, so
may fish
and
in
of course,
just
and of course, because he's like the king of marketing. So this is going to be available for purchase on September 4th, I think, on his website, right? And they announced again more freaking the Roland, right? Rolling Realms.
Realms, yeah.
They announced 3 more Rolling Realms, and one of them is brass.
Oh,
So
is it really?
like,
I hadn't seen that yet. Oh, you gotta get it. Gotta get it.
Gotta get it. I mean, I have the Redux.
That Redux looks nice.
I have the Redux. I'm gonna bring it over and show you next time we get together to the game. But I might pick this one up then. Like I kind of, it's funny, as a kid I dabbled in like stamp collecting for like a couple of months or a year or whatever. I don't know. But it wasn't a very long period of time.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. It was like 5 minutes. But no, it's interesting. Like the stance, you go whatever, and but like like you said, it has the eye split you choose, the cut, like several of those mechanisms that are kind of interesting, kind of weaved together, which can be kind of interesting. But and we know it's gonna be good produced. So I was interested as we this came out last week, and it was just Carlos and I we were gonna talk about it. I'm like, but let's wait for Rob because I know he played it.
Oh yeah,
and you're kind of hyped on this a bit, aren't you?
I was, yeah. Like I say, when I kind of had forgotten about it because it's one of those things. I saw it at Design Day. At that point, it had not been picked up by Stonemaier. It was just one of, that's part of the Design Day, is he brings in all these different designers and he reserves kind of the right that, hey, if a game really catches my eye, there's a chance that you could get picked up and we could have some conversations. But so yeah, at that point, I'm 95% sure that there was no connection there unless it was super secret at that point. But it was just one of the 7, 8, 9 games that I played that were in design, and I came away. Everybody it was one of the hot games that people wanted to get in and try because of Honey Buzz and because of the designer, and we knew this was an established guy already, and so people had some expectations for it already. I didn't know a whole lot. I knew I had played Honey Buzz. I liked Honey Buzz quite a bit. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, this guy's done some things. And so, but I played it and I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is going to be good, and but now that Stonemaier's behind it and it's in their catalog, it's like you say, the production, everything's going to be.
And that's sort of interesting because both you and Carlos have played more prototypes than I have probably. Because I know you, like Carlos, you went to Design Day once and you've probably played some other prototypes. It's interesting is like there's prototypes, like there's me or you or us designing a game, and then there's someone who's done it before.
Oh yeah.
Like, could you easily tell the level that this game was at a Design Day was at a different level than all the other games you played? As far as refinement, maybe,
Not necessarily, because there was a card game there. I'd have to go back in my logs to see. There was a card game there that they told us before we played it that this game has been pretty much finished for a couple of years, and that they were really just trying to find the right marketing. They were trying to whatever, and it was just a real simple little card game. But that one was polished. I mean, you could tell it had been done for years, and it was ready to go. And it was a new designer, new group. And real simple card game. I remember I talked about it on the show a while back, but so it didn't necessarily feel any more finished than others. And you're going to get levels, all different kinds of levels. We played a game. Dan and I played a game that the guy told us, "Hey, I just came up with this, 6 months ago. This is brand new. This is." So it's hard to say because people come into this at completely different levels. The mechanisms and the gameplay felt like, oh, okay, this is somebody who knows what they're doing. So that part of it, I felt like, this guy knows, what good things what good feelings, what good feels to put together to make a successful game. So that part of it felt good. As far as though just looking at the game, no, I would say I played a couple of games that looked more finished and looked more shiny and like that they were almost ready to roll out on and into put them in a box and put them on the market than this one was. This one was still was grid lines and was, like I say, just a little step up from hand drawn at that point. And so some of the player boards and stuff looked like they were just cut out.
Interrupting it, just having listened to a million different podcasts about game design, they always talk about like wait for art Don't worry about art. Don't worry about whatever. Just get the game mechanics. So this one then is an example of that, where it's like there were more games that looked more polished.
Yeah.
Maybe this game was more polished, even though it was uglier.
Yeah, this one you could feel, and I think it was the highest rated or the second highest rated game, because that was part of the design day, Stonemaier Design Days, is that you get a little sheet, and for every game you play, you give it a little rating. It was like 1 through 5 on how finished you think it is, how well you think the rules work. You could give some feedback about whether you thought the designer needed to go back and re-look at some of the rules and stuff. And we've talked at length about from Carlos's one experience and my 2 experiences there, that some designers are much more open to that feedback than others. Some of them, you tell them things and they really don't want to hear it. Hey, I've got my idea, I've got my game, I want you to play it, and I want you to tell me what you think, but don't really tell me what you think, because it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember that was kind of against the spirit of the event.
Right, yeah.
Like the event, like I can imagine Jamie being more like, let's be honest, let's just talk about the game, let's help everyone get a better game. But yeah, you could see.
Yeah.
The way he described it to me was that his goal is to have folks come in with games that have an opportunity for improvement. So putting them here in front of all these different playtesters, not with the purpose of just marketing it, but with the purpose of allowing for the game to get better. And if your game is fully set, if it's already cooked, it's baked in, what's the point of bringing it to this for feedback?
Yeah. But there's people there from all ends. I mean, like I said, they were brand new first-time designers who this is just something they threw together. And again, I keep thinking of the
remember cards changing mid-game.
Oh,
He would pull the paper, because
Really?
there were pieces of paper in sleeves.
Yeah, in sleeves.
He pulled the sleeve out because we were like, that just feels broken. Like,
let's make that a +2 instead of a +3 or
he pulls
something.
it out, writes with the pencil, puts it back in.
That's awesome though. Like,
Yep.
And then he writes in his little journal the change he made.
and that's what's crazy is like, so this game clearly came from the design day, right?
Yeah.
Now, we don't know if there was pre-conversations or not, and maybe he gets other games from design day, but like
Pendulum.
Was that a
That was
game?
one. Yeah,
Was it?
saw it at Design Day.
Okay. So he's had two games from Design Day. Pendulum. What's interesting is I've never played Pendulum, but I almost want to play it because people crap on it.
Yeah.
But
I have it. I bought it.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Have
It
you played
wasn't. No, have not
we never
played
played it.
Right. Never played it.
I bought
So,
it. It wasn't a Stonemaier donation.
Yeah. People crap on it, but again, it's Jamie. I've never played a game of his that wasn't good.
Now I don't believe he designed it,
No, he didn't. But I'm telling you,
but
I've never played
he
I've
saw
never
it
played a
and he
Stonemaier
thought there was
game.
something in it.
Right.
Like he thought there was something big out of this one.
He kind of admits it. Like, it's funny is on his weekly chats, every so often someone will ask, "Is there going to be an expansion to Pendulum?" And he very diplomatically couches, "Well, I thought it was a good game, but other people really didn't." Like between the lines, he's like, "It didn't sell well, so it's not getting an expansion. It's not a kind of game that it didn't hit." But like, I don't know. It's almost like I trust him. I've played a lot of his games. I can't think of, other than Pendulum and Charterstone, I think those are the only 2 games of his I've never played. And like, I want to play Pendulum just to see for myself if it's really as bad as some people say it
You
is.
can give it the beans and dice.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
beans.
Or
Give it the
shit.
beans.
You're not even willing to give it a shot?
No, I'm with you in the sense of I really wanted to play that game with Rob because
I want to play the turn-based version, not the real-time version.
his aversion to real time,
Santa real time, yeah.
what I think would make it a fun play with Rob.
Right.
Now
the
he
table.
says he has an aversion. He says he has an aversion to real time games, but he likes XCOM. Like XCOM was fun.
I loved the video game, so there was a pretty strong tie to that before. But
Now, the one time I played Scythe, where it was like it was a bad experience playing Scythe, but I still understood that it was a good game because I was playing with a couple who loved the game and they had all the expansions, and they brought me into at Necronomicon to play the game, and it was like just way too much for me. They were talking about how they loved Pendulum and the idea of this and that and whatever. So I'm like, I mean, there are some people out there that really like the game. So, maybe, it clearly didn't
Just so
find
we
a big
can make sure we
audience.
play everything in the catalog.
Yeah, so why not? I do want to play Charterstone because
I do too. Yeah,
I've had a friend or two that played it. And they said it's maybe not the greatest thing ever, but the idea of playing a legacy worker placement game,
I own
Euro.
it. I own it. Never played it. So someday I keep saying someday I'm going to put together a group to play it. So I'll keep you in mind for that. But I don't want to play it too. I want to get through it. I hear it's repetitive is the thing because it's just worker placement over and over, and the board changes just a little bit each game.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the same thing over and over. But it's what 12 plays and you're done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You buy it on Steam and play it on that.
Yeah.
One Mike says Rob needs to play or needs to try Project Elite.
I do want to play Tragic Elite. Yeah, that's a real time.
I think one Mike should just call in.
Yeah. Maybe we should call him. Should make it a call-in show. Nobody's calling.
Well, I think we only got a couple of news articles left in our bag, and that'll wrap us up.
Yeah. What was I thinking?
I know Wayne had posted up about the Heroescape sellout.
Yeah, the
Like-
first wave of it.
Renegade gets a hold of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just does what Renegade does. It sells that bad boy
Blow
out.
it up. Yeah.
But I have here's the feeling or the question. Pulse, which is Hasbro's Pulse, right? I think it's Pulse. Is there
And they failed the first time with that, right? Miserably.
But did it really fail? Like it was in the millions. It's just I think they
went failed for
the,
Hasbro.
Yes, they wanted bazillions.
Economies of scale. They wanted 15 million, 20 million. It was only getting 5, so they're like cancel.
So and that's what it looks like. Renegade gets it, and it looks like a complete success. Hasbro did it. It looked like a failure, but in reality, I bet Hasbro was probably going to make more money off or more sales, like more copies in that first run that they did than Renegade's going to make on this one. It's just because Renegade's doing a smaller run. It's probably
that's
so all that to say, like Hasbro, come on, bro, you could have did this.
That's a good point, though.
It just feels like a lot of hype too for the sale. Like, oh, it's sold out, and I'm a little mad at myself
because
for not jumping
it sailed out at a hobby level. It never sold out at the mass market level.
Yeah,
that's a really I did not think of that because you're right. We probably would need to go back and see what it was at on the Pulse, but it was a pretty hefty chunk. But Hasbro has a totally different economies of scale. Like their level of print versus any company in even Asmodee is like. I think Asmodee is the biggest company in board gaming. Maybe. Let's say they are.
Probably.
They're up there, right? So Asmodee is probably one of the biggest. There's one or maybe Games Workshop, Asmodee. There's a couple. When you look at like their like entire history, it's probably only like 2 years of Hasbro as far as like revenue and sales and everything. So like Hasbro would look at Stonemaier Games and be like, oh, how nice. He sold 2 million copies of Wingspan.
Isn't that cute?
How's that cute, so right? Yeah. We sold 2 million copies of the shitty Star Wars Monopoly game.
Wayne's kid was gobbling that one up.
Right.
Click on those. Yep.
Aaron says the Charterstone app is great. I started a campaign, but the group fell apart through the pandemic. It's good, not great.
Right, and I've heard that. It's good, not great. But it's worker placement and Euro-y, so 12.
Didn't you pick up a copy at Dragon Con?
Yeah. That's where mine's from. Is Dragon Con.
Yeah, I remember
we
that.
worked at Cool Stuff's booth. Yep. Right. Click on the next one because I gotta throw this out here. So Mike says, "Don't tempt me to call in, Frodo." So all right, so Mike, I'll tempt you. So my piece of news was they just announced. I just posted this up in the Discord today. Res Arcana has announced a 2-player two-player mode, duo.
A duo.
Yeah, it should be dual, but duo.
Every game produced from now on requires a duel, a rolling right, a flipping right, and
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey guys, it's Aaron from Columbus. How we doing?
Hello, Aaron.
How are you?
Thank you for making it a call-in show.
I'm good. Yeah, you guys started talking Heroescape, so I figured I would call in and add my 2 cents.
All right, take it away.
Yeah. So I was not big into TCGs, Dungeons and Dragons, anything like that as a teenager in high school. But for some reason, Heroescape hit right at the right time, and so we had everything. So that's what we did 3 nights a week, probably for a good 2 years of my prime teenage years was was HeroScape. So when I heard it was coming back, I was pretty jazzed. I didn't know what it would look like, because they just can't make games like that and sell them at what they were selling them for in Walmart and Toys R Us. So I was like, it's going to be pricey. What is it going to look like? And then I'll be honest, when Hasbro put out their little pledge or whatever, I think they had to hit $2 million. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not even going to entertain this. They put such little effort into that campaign. I think they were hoping there were enough diehards out there that it would just fund, and it made no real attempt to, I think, grab a new audience. So I looked at it because they had like the kind of standard unpainted ones, and it just didn't look right. There was no attempt to kind of explain the game on that core page. So, a few of us got together and said, is it worth buying this? We've grown up, started families, the group that played. But kind of the idea of, because we still have, my brother still has a lot of the old stuff and has kept so much of it. So we were like, do we try and just kind of go in and have a full collection still? And we decided not. And then when Renegade took it over, I looked at it and I almost bought it twice. I think there's a decent chance I may start from scratch at some point. It's just not in the cards right now. It's a decent commitment, right? Because they do have the painted option, and you buy a core set, you buy land tiles and terrain, and it can get pricey quickly. But it looks like they did a really good job from what I've seen. They've already announced second wave stuff. I didn't hear until you guys mentioned it that seems like they've sold out of the first wave. So those are all good signs. I think it's in really good hands with Renegade, and I just saw the Dice Towers review, and I know Tom's been a lifelong fan, so it's not a huge surprise, but it sounded like it was pretty well received by them as well. So,
couple of points on what you said. The first one with the Hasbro aspect. What did we expect after the success of Hero Quest? So no effort, no rule changes. You're getting exactly what you got in the 80s.
Cash grab.
We're going to work on nostalgia, and it worked.
Minimal effort.
And it worked.
Yep.
That thing is going gangbusters. So they probably thought, okay, we can do that again with the HeroScape group. But I don't think they understood that was a completely different audience, whereas Hero Quest, from late 80s, early 90s, and then HeroScape just a little bit behind that in the early aughts. Right? It's a whole different time frame and not enough time to embed into the culture and get that the nostalgia insta-buy. So that's, I think, where they failed on that. And then the other aspect that I think Renegade's doing well is I'm hearing about terrain packs. Which is one of the biggest in the wargaming community and in the RPG community, the excitement levels are high just because of those terrain packs. Like the idea that, okay, now I can fill my table with this awesome modular hex terrain.
And that was, I think, the when Hasbro did it, it was you had to buy everything, or you had to buy the set.
Yep.
They didn't offer anything as add-ons where you just so the people who had all the HeroScape stuff, they're like, I just want to buy a bunch more terrain, or I just want more terrain. They weren't doing that. And that was, I think, a huge, that's the difference between a mega company that doesn't understand the gaming market going, here's our set, buy the set. And if you want more terrain, just buy more sets. Cause we're going to make you buy more sets, where it's no, if you did different terrain packs, different monster packs, you would sell crap ton of those smaller sets.
Yeah, and I think it might have worked back in the day when a core set was, I don't know, it couldn't have been more than $40 at Walmart. But now there's painted minis with that terrain. I mean, I can't imagine how much it is to manufacture and produce that stuff. So people don't want to spend $150 just to buy another core set just to have terrain. So that was a huge deal, and it was such a the original release model was very kind of dynamic in that sense, where they would come out with these core boxes every so often, but then, you know, you had these kind of waves of specialized character packs, and then like the jungle pack, or there's like lava packs and water packs and all sorts of stuff. And I think I'll be interested to see what comes of it, but I think Renegade's done a good job of it seems to be, you know, there's a core kind of package. There's maybe a smaller 2-player kind of starter sort of experience. And then to your point, like these terrain packs and other things they can sprinkle in here. I'll be interested to see how much they're willing to tiptoe back into kind of re-releasing older content, like redoing some of, you know, past heroes or characters, versus now any characters we're going to make are truly going to be fresh and new.
No, see, I would like to see the Revolutionary War guys come back. You know, a squad of you know, musket firing Revolutionary War guys.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that made the game so great. Just like the diversity of squad types and faction types, and the different characters, and they all played different, very kind of thematic on how they played. And that's, I haven't looked in close enough at what Renegade's doing. I'm sure it's mostly similar to what Hasbro initially presented, but the factions, as they were kind of reintroduced, just didn't have that same, I don't know, they didn't have that same excitement. They felt kind of just kind of
Generic.
Attempt to generic, new, but still just kind of generic, without any real, I don't know, nothing to grab a hold of. Where, you know, some of those old HeroScape factions and characters were almost pulled straight from just like history, right? Or like, past IPs, like with there was like a Dracula character, and to your point, like there were like Roman legionaries. And
it makes me wonder what a company like Restoration Games would have done with something like this, because, you know, like Restoration's got unmatched, and it seems like every time they release something, people are like, holy crap, they went there, they did that, that's awesome. And then
Houdini versus what?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, I had to jump in with that. So
I'm with Aaron on that one. Is looking forward to the different types. You know, I think my favorite set that I have is my Marvel set, and I also have the D&D set. And then playing them against each other is just so much fun, like that mashup, and that's what Renegade does well.
Yeah.
I think Renegade's going to do a good job with that.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that the online boards for like BattleTech, like there's a cleanup on aisle 4 because there's so much squeeing going on over there. The excitement is insane just for these hexes.
Yeah, it was a great system. I'm glad it's back. Excited to see what it'll turn into. I don't know. I'm in a really different point in my life. I'd love to buy it and put it in boxes and wait till.
See, that was, man, the FOMO is so hard.
But
the FOMO is so hard because I was there, Aaron. I was in the middle. I was playing war games like 40K and Mordheim, and right, like I'm playing Games Workshop stuff. And I see this on the shelves coming out at Walmart and such. But my kid, you know, was too young to play anything like that. And I was like, no. And then by the time I was like, okay, I'm ready and I want it, just gone, disappeared, never find it again. And that regret is so strong with me for not having made that purchase. Not trying to push you in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
No.
The opposite is me. Is I have 2 Foot Lockers full of Mech Warrior, another 2 Foot Lockers full of Mage Knight, and probably another 2 Foot Lockers full of HeroClix, where I'm like, maybe my kid will play with these with me someday, and he's not gonna do it. It's just not, like, I should have sold that stuff years ago, and it was worth way more money than it is now.
Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on it. I'm intrigued by it. If anything, I could see maybe the brothers going in and throwing some money at it, and someone kind of keeping it with the rest of the collection.
I think for some fun Thanksgivings.
Once or twice a year. So
yeah, those Thanksgivings would be a lot more fun with a table full of plastic hexagonal shapes.
Or a lot less fun. Those games used to get pretty heated. So.
Oh,
But it is, it's like you show up at the house. One person spent like the day before Thanksgiving setting it all up again. And then while everyone else is cooking and watching some football, you're playing some.
Well, what was great about it is it combined like a board game and a minis game. So like the targeting system in that game used the silhouette of the figure, and you would look from eyes level of behind the head of the shooting miniature all the way to the target miniature. So those arguments were tended to be about, I can see his arm. No, you can't.
Well, and it's got that great especially when you're playing multiplayer, which we did a lot. There'd be 5 or 6 of us playing, and battles that would last multiple evenings throughout the week, and someone starts to take the lead. So you start forming some alliances and say we got to push back. We can't let this person get too far out ahead, and of course that creates a lot of animosity, and you're trying to talk your way out of no, I'm not winning, so someone else is winning, and so hurt feelings that you figure out a few days later, but they're just trying to jockey for the best position in the kind of metagame too. So it was a good time. So like I said,
sounds like it,
if
man.
I play
we can hear it.
It's once or twice a year, but we played that probably 2 years. Before we thought it was important to have girlfriends, and we just played that every night for 2 years. So it was good. It was good fun. But I'll see if someone else gets a call in from you guys, and I'll let you go for the night. But
thank you for making it a call-in show. We
appreciate you calling.
Thanks for sharing. That's a great passion. Thank you for sharing.
Have a good one.
Hey, Aaron from Columbus,
Ohio.
Any other news topics that we missed that anybody want to bring up?
Just touching on Res Arcana Duo.
Oh, yeah, Res Arcana Duo.
So, yeah, they're just real quick. So, they have announced that it's going to be a standalone 2-player. I say standalone, but it's also going to be supposedly the components you can mix into regular Res Arcana. So, it's going to add new everything, some new cards, some new monuments, new stuff that you can mix into the base game. And so, they've already had one expansion that was a full expansion of stuff that was just more stuff. And then this is going to add a duo aspect, a way to play it 2-player, but then you can take pretty much all the content over into the full game and play with it, so it can also be an expansion to the full regular game. So, I mean, this sounds...
Res Arcana Duo is a new 2-player standalone game by Tom Lerman. Did you get that right? Layman.
Yep.
In the
alchemical
universe of Res Arcana.
Contains all the components needed to play and includes a new drafting method, which is going to be cool because there was already a draft. I don't know if that was officially part of the game or if that was the homebrew that came out maybe on BGG or something, but people were already doing a drafting. But it says a new drafting method in a compact travel box that can be easily taken to cafes. So
specifically.
another thing.
He's talking to the fat boy in me.
Yeah. So we can take this to the bar, take it to the cafe. Yeah. Go ahead, Wayne.
No, I'm almost positive the drafting was not like the base game, but it was like an alternate, like a
homebrew.
And the drafting really is better. I love the drafting aspect of Res Arcana.
Oh yeah, definitely. I prefer to play that way for sure. So, release in English, French, German, Italian, and Japanese in November of 2024. So just in a couple of months. Retail price $24.99.
So says it acts as the third expansion to Res Arcana by adding artifacts, monuments, mages, and places of power to offer more strategies and interaction to your games of Res Arcana. This might be my entry into Res Arcana.
Yeah, I mean, it's a $25 version of it that's just 2-player. If you like it, you can go and buy the big box and have more stuff. I mean, it seems like a win-win. I mean, if you already like Res Arcana, if not, again, it's a good entry point if you just want to try it out, if you're willing to spend the $25. So I'm a fan. I know Mike One Games, a big fan. He introduced me to it. It's on BGA. You can go and test it out on there if you've never played it before. So I think it's great. But everything's got a duo or a dual or
a duet
or a roll and ride or whatever these days. But yeah, or duet. Yep.
See, duo to me would speak co-op.
Yeah, co-op. It does seem to sing of co-op. So, but no, this Res Arcana is not going to be co-op.
It's ambiguous with the word duo.
Dual. Yeah. head to head.
And
I don't know.
every game needs a duel or duo, rolling right, flipping right.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
Ticket to Ride, Wayne, you posted up.
Oh,
Ticket to
God,
Ride
yes.
components.
Those two
They look
trains.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, let me pull that up. Hold on.
I know Michael from Armada. I know we've asked him to please keep us posted on how do we get a hold of these.
Reserve some of these new trains. Yeah. So
I know I got pink for my wife. I think I sent the set home with you for
I think
for
I got
Emmy.
'em.
Pink trains that I picked up from Armada Games through Michael.
Yep.
Michael Fortino.
I won't grow. It won't grow any bigger, but yeah, I gotta get a bigger shot of it. It won't grow bigger. Let me see if I get it.
Whoops.
It won't grow bigger.
Adios mio, I can't even.
There you are.
But anyway, yeah, they got what's it? 5 colors there. Looks like yellow, red,
Yellow, red, green,
black, and
gray,
blue,
yeah.
or gray and blue. Yeah. So these custom, I assume limited edition type trains. So deluxe trains are called deluxe train set.
There we go.
Coming out in October.
There
There
we
you go. Now it's blowing up.
A little bit bigger.
Made it bigger.
Yeah, you can clearly see that each train is kind of a unique train. So it reminds me of the
25th anniversary.
yeah the 10th anniversary. That really, I think the Ticket Ride 10 or 20 anniversary is really the best of all of them.
Yeah.
But that's really pricey nowadays. But like, man, if they come out with like
My
little
son's-
sets, I want all of them.
My son's girlfriend, his parents picked it up.
Oh, did they
And
that version?
She showed it. Oh my God, those trains are gorgeous.
nice.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
phenomenal. They come in their own individual tins.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
like, oh, they're fantastic.
Aren't they wooden and they're like handcrafted or whatever?
No,
Yeah,
no,
I said to her, I said, did like
Are they
small
plastic?
children in other countries paint these? Like
Oh,
these
yeah.
are gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, there was a version that was they were wooden and hand painted, if I remember
That's
at one point.
Like a crazy version, yeah.
Oh,
But
is it? Okay.
My
yeah.
buddy owns the 10th anniversary Ticket Ride, or is it 10 or 20? I forget. Anyway,
Yeah.
but it's phenomenal. But like, I want all these. Like, hopefully, I really do hope that Michael at Armada can get them, because I'll take a set of all of them. Like,
I think I bought like 3 or 4 boxes of the pink.
Yeah.
thanks. I bought 2 or 3, and I gave them away to people. Yeah,
Yep.
they're worth it. Yeah,
Then there was that new. I'm just going through our in the news chat
In the
things
Discord?
that people have been posting. I know Kyle, aka Mr. Jeeves, in the chat posted up about coming in November an expansion to Rococo. Is that what that is?
It's a standalone
game. New game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A family weight Rococo game where you're building pastries
Building pastries.
or something similar.
Baking some pastries.
Getting ready for the party. Is that
Yeah.
what that's about?
Something. Yeah. The Rococo party. Rococo.
I see the Garpill Games video. Wayne, you posted that one. Did you notice? Oh, here we go. Back to Rococo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So full standalone.
Make it
Yep.
bigger.
And then you posted the video for Garfield Games announcements.
We talked about that a bit, where they're doing expansions to all 3 of the South Tigers games, where there's going to be a solo campaign through all 3. And they talked about BGA a bit. There wasn't, I can't think there was much else other than the 3 big expansions and a couple other games. But it was interesting. I do love this. So like Stonemaier has it, Fantasy Flight has it, Garfield has it, where they kind of like do this video of like, here's what we're doing over the next year and a half, and here's what you can look forward to. I kind of like it. I think Garfield does a really good job of it, because they just kind of they take questions from the audience. It's definitely has stayed consistent, whereas the in-flight report from Fantasy Flight has become garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of used.
No, Simon does a lot of those now too. They anytime they've got something new, they'll have a little interview with the designers and stuff like that on there. You can ask questions and stuff. So yeah, it's a cool trend to feel more personable, feel like you have more contact with these big companies. So yeah.
And then when you posted this video game champion, relive the 16-bit experience with video game champion.
Dice Tower's been talking this one up for
Arcane
last
Wonders?
year or so.
There's another Brazilian game
Yep.
that's come to America. So it's same time as Comic-Coners. So the theme of this is you're like a teenage kid and you're trying to become the video game champion. So you remember when we were kids and you had video games, you'd go to Blockbuster Video
Yep.
and you'd
Check 'em out.
you'd check out that game, and you either if it was the game system where you could make saves, you'd play it as much as you can and save, and then rent it again the next week or whatever. And or if you couldn't save it, you had to beat the whole game, whatever. And one of the things of this game is it works in like you have to do chores and things that aren't fun.
Mhm.
No, in the game, like you're
like
trying
it.
you're trying to
Yeah.
balance, like you got to do chores so you get your allowance so you
Or
can
you-
go rent the video game to become the video game champion.
One of the options, you go visit grandma, and by visiting
Yeah.
grandma, she gives you a couple bucks to rent a game. Yep.
But it takes time to go visit grandma or whatever. So it's like this whole microcosm of our teenage, when
Yeah.
all the video games were coming out and you're trying to play these games and, score the championship points while not neglecting your chores and like all this. So like, I just feel like this is another game that would just hit with me for the nostalgia and the theme, right? Just like Comic Hunters and the comic book collecting list did. So yeah.
Have you seen Dice Tower did a playthrough of it during it was last summer spectacular, I think.
I see it. I feel like maybe I did, but I need to go back and watch it again. But
Yeah.
what did you think?
It looked pretty good. Yeah, it looked good. It didn't completely knock it out of the park for me. There was a few clunky feeling edges to it, but the nostalgia was big. Yeah, all those little, like I say, the little cool little ideas they had about, they say, visiting grandma, so she gives you a few bucks and you go and you can rent, and there's different levels of achievements for renting certain games so many times or whatever. So yeah, it's a pretty cool idea. It's something I don't know, for some reason it's something I see coming from overseas. I just don't. This wouldn't be a big European designer or a big American designer. It's just the idea and the whole feel of it feels a little niche, kind of like Comic Hunters. It's.
Well, what's crazy is both Comic Hunters and the theme should resonate with like maybe the majority of the board game market is that like 30 to 50-ish range.
Yeah.
And we all grew up collecting comic books. We all grew up with
Mhm.
video games and going to Blockbuster to rent games and
Mhm.
have to balance all that. So like the outside the box thinking to turn that niche thing into, maybe not even niche, but that like nostalgia into a
Mhm.
board game, I think is cool.
Yeah, it's a great idea. So it looks like fun. I'd like to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, like right now that I think my top 3 like want to buy games is Let's Go to Japan, Video Game Champion, and then maybe the mail game, the Stonemaier game, the stamp game. So.
Oh yeah, stamp swap. Yeah. Mhm.
Looks good. I like the 16-bit aspect of it, and
Right.
I do remember either borrowing or renting games and seeing someone else's score
Oh yeah.
on there.
I remember that.
Saved
Yeah.
on the cartridge or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because back in our day, you would save the data to the actual
Cartridge, yeah.
the game itself,
Yep.
not to your device.
That's what, again, kind of talking like Wayne was saying. So you'd go and you check it back in, and then you try to check it right back out because you knew if you let it sit for a couple of days, somebody else might rent it and then wipe out your saves. And it's like, oh, I got to start over.
Yep.
So, yep. Mm.
Okay. Most traumatic experience of my life.
Mm-mm.
How about
I
this?
touched on something here. Go ahead.
No. So Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I have the T-shirt. I actually stood in line to get
Right.
Final Fantasy VII
Okay.
when it came out. Yep.
So we were playing it at my college dorm. We had the game system. We played that game nonstop. Like
Mhm.
we had both that was the PlayStation, right? And then we had the N64. And so in one room of my dorm room, we had like a quad where it was like 4 rooms and like a living room.
Not golden.
It was GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah. I called it.
GoldenEye on the N64 never got stopped, right? And
Yep.
then Final Fantasy VII. So I'm playing Final Fantasy VII. I played that thing for like 2 semesters, like nuts. I played. I had everything you could possibly get done with it, and I'm like, maybe 10 hours to the end of just completing the entirety of the game. I probably put several hundred hours into it. I leave to go to laboratory on a Friday. I'm a science major. I have a biology degree, so I went to Friday lab, and I came back, and my roommate Frank, and he's looking sad, and I'm like, man, what's going on? He's like, wait, look, I know you're gonna get really mad here,
We really pissed.
but I gotta tell you something. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, he's like, I kind of fucked up, and I pulled out the memory card while it was saving my game, and it corrupted the card.
Oh.
And so my entire
Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII game got wiped out. Every save I had,
Ugh.
save. And I was, So I've never actually finished Final Fantasy VII.
Really? Yeah.
I don't think I'd have the heart to do it again.
That was if you remember Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 or 2 maybe.
2, I think, yeah.
PS1 or 2. And it was like 4 discs long. It came in like double disc thing where you opened it up, it had 4 discs that you played through. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm like, I could never put that much time. So I've never actually finished the original Final Fantasy VII because it was just like, I was within a couple hours of finishing the entire game, every side mission, every bonus thing, and my roommate accidentally wiped the cartridge.
So you didn't actually ever finish the story, even? I mean, I finished the story. I never went and did all of the side things, but
I was the guy that did all the side stuff before I finished the story.
Oh, so I did some of it as I went along.
All of it, and then So it's like,
no, I was a completionist. I always tried to go back. I never did complete it, but I finished the story, and I try to get as much as I can just naturally as I'm going through the story. So I check every nook and cranny, but then afterwards, then I start going and really going and super looking for stuff.
My wife is playing the new one, the Final Fantasy VII remake on the PS5, and it looks gorgeous. Like, fantastic.
My son played the first because they put it out in a couple of chapters when it originally came out, the remake, and so he played through the first one, but he stopped. But yeah, I stood in line for the release of it at the it wasn't GameStop back then, but whatever the game shop
Electronic
was.
boutique.
Probably, actually, it probably was. And they gave you T-shirts for being like the first 20 people in line or whatever. So I have the T-shirt that I still fit into from from back in, I think it was 92 or 93.
30 years later.
When I stood in line for Final Fantasy, I still have that T-shirt. So
Now GoldenEye. How much GoldenEye did you play?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
tons. Yeah.
When that Rumble Pack came out.
Yeah, I was in college working at the golf course for the park authority, and we would sit there in the pro shop of the golf course, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays when like almost nobody was there, and we'd just sit there and play for hours, just playing that, while we were working.
I want to say
because
TV.
I didn't have internet. I just didn't grow up with internet, so the idea of like playing against other people, in that 4-player multi-screen, that was just mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
I do remember. So I had the very lucky privilege at the college I went to. It was a small private college up north, and we're talking early mid 90s. Every kid was given a laptop.
Oh yeah,
part of the tuition, and we got internet. We got early internet, and I remember, like in my sophomore year, not even World of Warcraft, like EverQuest came out, or one of the things, and like there were multiple
Might and Magic,
like all those online games, and like I remember there were several of my fraternity brothers that first year when these online games came out, and like their GPA was a 0.0.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they never left. They had a laptop and it was connected to the internet. And they never left their dorm room. They were just playing the games 24/7. Oh, Mike tried calling in after we normally cut off the phones, and it went to voicemail. So, Mike, you need to learn to call in earlier.
Hang on, no. It's set.
I'm just messing with him.
Do it again, Mike. Do it again.
Call in, Mike.
You get blocked.
There were several of my.
I had to unblock his number.
No, he had to unblock his number.
Personal.
There were several of my fraternity brothers and friends that literally failed out of college because of online video gaming, like in the early 90s, because it was so addicting. Because it was like that idea of, I don't have to be in the same room to play GoldenEye with you. I can play it via the web. Like, craziness.
All right. So, there we go.
There he is. There we go.
In case of a fast pickup, we ask you to let us know that you are not a voicemail system, so you need to press 1 to take this call.
I need to press 1 to take this call. Okay.
Press 2.
Pressing 1. What if I press 2? Hello, Mike?
Yo.
That took a lot of effort for me to answer that call.
That's a lot.
Apparently, I answered too quickly for Google's sake.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Am I? This is Lorenzo from Calgary, Alberta.
Oh, Calgary, Alberta now. Further and
From
further
Canada,
north. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna apologize.
Oh,
Are you
man.
calling it? Are you calling it? Talk about Crokinole? You're Crokinole.
Oh, Crokinole.
Oh, what happened? What do you mean? What's going on? I've been listening, but
just
I was really
Canadian.
calling in for the
only-
Res Arcana duel.
Oh, yeah. Only game Canadians play is Crokinole, right?
I thought the Crokinole sold like at gas stations up there. Like it's just everywhere.
I don't know. Maybe at Canadian Tire they sell one. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah,
They sell
Canadian
everything there. So.
Res Arcana Duo.
Yeah, so what's up with that? I've been so busy, man. I haven't had. I really haven't kept up on anything, really.
Well,
so what's going on with that?
Well, just announced within the last, I think, 24, 48 hours, Res Arcana Duo. So we touched on it, but so it's a new standalone box, $25, $24.99, coming out in November. It's going to be a 2-player version. It's going to add new everything. So and it says everything from this version can be added to the base game and the first expansions. So it's basically it's going to give you more monuments, more heroes, more everything. It's just more of everything, and then you can mix and match it's got new. It says a new drafting rule mechanic. So I don't know whether this is the homebrew draft thing that people have been doing already, or if there's a whole new drafting system set up. So so it sounds like it's all good stuff. And as Carlos was saying, this might be his entry point because $24.99. It's cheap. It's just a 2-player version, so it might
fits right in for Melissa and I.
Res Arcana is only $30 anyway.
Okay.
I mean,
it's like 35. That's that line. That's that line.
$29.99 or more, I'm out.
Yeah, that's where he draws the line. Anything over that.
Exactly.
It sounds like they ran out of room in the base box, and that's probably why they came out with like a standalone that you can mix in with the base box.
Maybe.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I'm all over that then.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured you'd be on it, and I just get Carlos to buy it here, and then I can play his. So, yeah,
it won't be that difficult.
Yeah,
that one's been on my wish list for a while. I just it's just at that price point of this is a game I'll play a few times. I don't think it'll be in the rotation as much. It's got to have a theme or a mechanism that I'm dying to play.
It's got a theme. You're a mage and you're collecting, essences, and you're spending them to do things. I mean, what more theme do you need than that?
Exactly. That's theme enough for anybody.
It's got icons.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of icons.
I mean, they don't even use cubes. They actually have the little wood pieces are shaped like the essences. So I mean, what else do you need?
A little water, a little fire. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I heard you and Wayne were saying that you're starting to like Federation a little bit more now.
Yeah, we were both saying. Yeah, I know it was mentioned in the Discord. I don't know if you saw, but the more. Oh, you might have said it. The more you're playing it. Yeah, you did say it. The more you were playing it, the more you liked it. So yeah. And then Wayne was agreeing, but I agree 100% too. I'm on my 3rd game of it now. And each time I play it, I'm liking it more and more because I'm starting to understand more how stuff links up and how things there's so many options, so many things to do. It's like, do I use this side of the coin? Do I use that side of the coin? Do I put down for the votes? Or do I want to do the double action? And I still haven't figured everything out. I'm still a little fuzzy about what the advantage of checking off something versus putting a ship on it is. So I'm still trying to figure the game out to some extent. But yeah,
and I keep forgetting the green planet where you do the victory point scoring. I forget that every time.
Oh, until other people start doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. I got to go over there.
I come back to the BGA game. I'm at like 12 points, and everyone else is like 50. I'm like, I forgot something here.
Yeah,
what did I forget?
Missed something. I'm missing something.
Yep. Is the other person playing with us in that game? Is that Nick that's playing?
It
What's
is.
the
Yep.
name?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was.
It's the 3 of us and then Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Nick's doing well.
All right, good. Yeah, he is. When he jumped up to like 70-something, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get some points here. I really had to think about that.
This is the first time he's ever played, so he's good at figuring stuff out, though. He usually cracks those.
If this is his first time, man, he'll be kicking butt like in the 2nd and 3rd game then.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
he's doing really good.
I'm going to watch a review of this one to get a better understanding of this game.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of decisions.
Yeah, and I told you guys, like, when I taught it to you, it takes probably 2 or 3 games before you really get down, like, everything that you can do and kind of start putting things together.
Yeah.
And I took the approach on this one, like, I'm going to try playing totally different, because I always used to play heavy on the Neo planet, the orange planet, and I never played heavy on blue, and I was like, I'm going to try starting off heavy on blue and see where it goes.
You jumped up there, yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I think regardless, as long as you have a good strategy, there's so many different ways that you can play the game and still, be competitive in it, I feel.
Yeah, I get sucked into trying to do a little bit of everything, and so I'm only one coin away from having all the coins. But then I feel like I don't know. We'll have to see how the in-game scoring goes. But I know my in-game scoring right now, I'm in third, I think, of the four of us.
I'm gonna be last place. Don't worry about
it. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't feel like I'm scoring as well as I could. But again, we'll see how the in-game scoring goes because those medals are going to give me some points at the end.
Yeah. Like Mike, I don't know if you listened from the beginning. I commented earlier in the show that like I think my problem on BGA this time was I kept forgetting what medals I had.
Oh, which medals you had? Yeah.
Yeah, and like I take a turn and be like, why didn't I get a medal? Oh, I already had that medal. Oh crap! I could have done something else there. So and I love the game and I love playing on a BGA, but I think on a board you'd see it better because
it's way different in person.
Yeah, and like Carlos, you would kind of hate it. Is like all the like you have the Senate board, which is the main board, but then there's all the planets, and on BGA the planets are tabs.
Yeah,
and so
you
have to click. I'll never remember it.
Yeah, exactly, and I always forget where
if I don't see it. It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I mean, my father left me when I was young. Like I had to build up a wall. Like if I don't see it, it just doesn't exist, and I don't think about it. It can't hurt if I don't think about it.
Yeah,
I would never think about those planets.
Sometimes you want to see the other players' boards also, which you also have to kind of like tab through as well.
I don't think I've ever looked on BGA at other players' boards.
I don't know that I have either. Yeah. The only thing I ever have is the cards that you can get. I have clicked around just to see how many cards each person had because they all show up down at the bottom of each person's player tabs. But that's the only thing I've ever flipped through other people's for. But I will say of all the games I play on BGA, I think this one I spend the longest on my turns on this game, longer than any other game I play. Because again, there's that whole thing. You have to look every time it's my turn. I have to look at every one of the tabs. Like, where am I at on the green planet? Where am I at on the red planet? Where am I at on the orange planet? Where am I at on the blue planet? Yep. And then I got to go back and look. Okay, well, which planets now can I activate? Okay, I can do green or yellow. Okay, I got to go back and look at green again. I got to go back and look at yellow again. See who I'm ahead of. And so
then you got to go when you get closer to the end of the game. Then you're checking the main board. It's like, okay, which one of these is going to fund by the end of the game?
Yeah, I just started kind of looking at that.
I have ignored that in every game I play.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
That's decided a lot of my moves in this one because I think only 2 of the projects are going to fund on this game
right now.
The end.
Yeah, it looks like
actually, I think only 2. Yeah. So
does that middle main project ever fund? I mean,
I've never seen
two games we've played. I've never seen it go more than like halfway up.
I have not seen it. This is the furthest I've seen it go. And it's going to go up like 2 more spots, but it's not going to fund in this game.
And that's what I'm saying. I've played once in person and 4 or 5 times on BGA, so 6 times in total. That middle project has never come close to funding.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. It just seems like it never moves, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I like it quite a bit. It's one of my favorite games on BGA right now.
Oh, all right. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, glad you taught us.
All right. Well, I called in. I made it a call-in show, or I helped make it a call-in show. Other
yes,
people
sir.
Called in,
Get back to work.
Call-in show.
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah. I'm just gonna rant here for a second. Every freaking home here in Calgary is a tall 2-story, and I mean, when you're inspecting hail, you got to get on the roof. I had to go out and buy a 32-foot extension ladder just so I can make it to the top of the roof.
Well, now you can afford it with all that work, right?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I don't think I want to make this kind of money anymore. I'm ready to go home.
Not worth it, huh?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say the pay is the greatest, but it is good. I can't argue. You know, but
I feel that.
I mean, I had 6 claims today, and every single one, you know, getting on the roof, you got to unload the 32-foot ladder, you got to get up there, and I'm like all bruised up because I'm not used to, you know, moving the ladder so that's that large. So, but
just remember, you say nothing about what you saw or didn't see up there until you're down.
Yeah,
right. When that homeowner asks you, "Did you find damage?" Hang on, let me get down the ladder. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about it, you really don't. And when you're up there with the contractor, you never argue with him while he's up there.
No, not while you're up on the roof. You
don't. Every single home has been. Hello.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I heard something beeping. I was going to say every single home has been total roof replacement. by the number of hits.
It was
of
that
hail.
severe up there?
Oh, dude, 14,000 plus claims.
That's insanity.
A lot.
Right, and that's not all the carriers up here. This is just for the carriers. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway,
Stay safe
all
up
right,
there.
fellas. Well, it was a good show tonight. I listened to the whole thing, and enjoyed it, and I'm sorry I couldn't call in, or be on the show. I'm busy, man.
No apologies needed.
Go
Bobby.
make that money.
You can come back next week
Yeah,
when I'm
man.
at Dragon Con, and then Robin Carlos will be with you. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, all right, that'll be cool. I'll
Cool.
try and make that happen.
I'll call in. I'll call in.
All right,
from
fellas.
the bar at Dragon
Be
Con.
safe.
Thanks, Mike.
All right,
See ya.
man.
Yeah.
See ya.
Do my-
Mike Lorenzo out of, what do you say, Calgary? Is that where he's at?
Alberta, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's,
So, yeah,
that's
next-
insane.
Next Thursday, I am out. I will be at Dragon Con, but probably call you guys for my annual yearly call from the Irish pub in Atlanta. So
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. Well, another good show tonight.
Yep.
Thank you, folks, for making it a call-in show. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Aaron. A lot of chatter in the chat this time.
Yeah.
That was great and fun to follow through.
I think,
Hopefully,
I'm sorry, Carlos. My bad.
go ahead.
I was
So
gonna-
hopefully we'll see these new names more often.
Yeah, like Roger Moore, I think is the name that I don't recognize. So hopefully
Right.
you enjoyed the show and call in next time. And I will point out to Roger or anyone else who knew, I was never on this show before. I was a caller first.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call in a few times. You can be on the show.
I mean, at the end of the day, you call in, the show's yours for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all yours. You're the host. And that's how we do on Thursday nights. We'll catch you on the next one next Thursday. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Wayne.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Shut up.